All right, there's damn near 13 minutes left in this football game, but I'm just going to go ahead and do the post-game post-mortem because the Minnesota Vikings are an absolute train wreck disaster. They are a horrible, horrible, horrible football team, and they might be they might be the least likable Vikings team in many many years. Train wreck game, horrible. Every single thing in this game has been horrible. They're an absolute joke, and this is no longer like outlier games. This is a pattern. We are 8 real games removed from this franchise playing for the number one seed in the NFC, and they have been horrible in 7 of the 8 games. In 7 of the 8 games since, and of course they're going to fall to 3-4. They will never be even a 500 team again, because after this they're going to go have the little, you know, 10 days off, and then they go to Detroit, and Detroit's going to beat them probably about 50-10. I don't give a fuck who's at quarterback. It won't be Carson Wentz, who has pissed down his leg this entire game yet again. And he literally just throws an interception as I'm saying that. He's beat to hell. Give him some credit for being tough, I guess, but he can't play. He's absolutely horrible. And now he's throwing an interception. Complete overthrow there of JJ. Just a joke. Just a joke. Well, at least it justifies me doing this already. This is a lost season, and this is going to be a really bad season. Unless JJ McCarthy, who now if it wasn't certain before, it's certain now. He will start now against Detroit the next game, and if he manages to stay healthy for the first time ever, he'll be the guy the rest of the season. Unless he is peak Mahomes immediately, this team has absolutely zero chance of making the playoffs. They will not even come close to making the playoffs, because you probably got to win at least 10 games to get there, and they would have to go 7-3 the rest of the way now after this. Against that schedule, not a chance in fucking hell. But I mean, this game, the first fucking play of the game, they have a decent kick return, penalty, takes it back. The only part in this entire game where it looked like they might have a chance to win was the Isaiah Rodgers pick six, which was an interception. I mean, this has turned into such a rout that it probably wouldn't have affected the game, but that was clearly a catch, and then a pick six, just like the Hockenson play. Actually, it was even more completely obvious than the Hockenson play last week, but we got a touchdown stolen. But so they've been so terrible the rest of the game, it probably wouldn't have mattered. KOC, look, these guys. KOC is not in danger of his job. I don't even know that Kwesi is in danger of his job, but everything they have done has backfired. Every single decision that they have made with this football team, since the end of last season, has proved to be a disaster. We spent all this money on this defensive line with Hargrave and Allen. The only time I even heard Hargrave's name mentioned tonight is when he bumped into a ref running off the field. Those two guys have been complete fucking no-shows the whole season. They're complete bums. They're complete flops of free agent signings. We're getting run over by the Chargers, and then they show Vidal. But they've given up a bunch of runs to Herbert. They've done nothing. They have shown no resistance. This has been a gutless pussy performance by this football team. They've shown no resistance on defense the entire fucking game. Herbert kind of sailed him an interception a little while ago. And of course, of course we struggled to score after that. They had to give us a penalty on defense on a 4th and goal to even get us a mercy touchdown. This team is an absolute disaster. But we spent all this money on these defensive free agents. They're not showing up. Metellus got paid. He's a bum since. Byron Murphy gets re-signed. He's been a fucking bum. Grenard's shown up. He's about the only one. Harrison Smith, does he even exist anymore? There's another 15-yard run on us. Bunch of soft, just a soft bunch of losers. This defense. This is absolutely pathetic. But hey, at least we're not paying the quarterback. Now instead of paying a pretty good quarterback to at least help us have some fun games. Now we're paying all the money to a bunch of mercenary free agents who other teams didn't want, and they're either terrible or hurt. But yeah, I mean, the middle of the defense, middle of the secondary has been wide open the entire game. There's been no adjustments made. Brian Flores, maybe he just doesn't care anymore. I don't know. I mean, I never would have imagined a Brian Flores defense would be this pathetic. I mean, do we ever get home on a blitz anymore? Do they even try? It's just, this is such a disaster of a season. Talking about Grenard being on the sideline. He got dinged up earlier, but everyone gets dinged up on this team. Ooh, a tackle for loss. Can we believe it? We got a tackle for loss. All right. But there's a flag because we probably did something wrong. Oh, did we grab a face mask? Is that why it was a tackle for loss? Of course. Metellus got paid, and now he's a piece of shit player. Grabs a face mask for no reason. It's going to be a tackle for loss whether he did it or not. But hey, it's the 2025 Vikings who don't have a fucking clue how to play football. So grab the face mask. I hate this team. I literally hate this team. This is a deeply, deeply unlikable Vikings team. Not just because they're getting blown out, but even the other games this year, other than the Bengal game, which is the outlier of all time, they have played horrible football, penalties all over the place, stupid play calls, soft run defense. How embarrassing must the Eagles offense really be if they still couldn't run against us last week? Although we gave them everything through the air, so. But I mean, this is a total system failure from the Vikings because everything that they claim they were building to for this season has failed. Everything. All this money they spent on the defense, all of it is poorly spent, except for we got Grenard last year, and then I still think Isaiah Rodgers had some rough plays last week, but I still overall think he's been a pretty good signing. But Jeff Okudah got beat on a touchdown. He was going to be one of our big free agent cornerbacks. I don't know what the hell we were thinking. What were we thinking? Doing nothing in the secondary. Trading Mekhi Blackman. I know he's not like all-pro player, but I take him over what we got now. Hey, we got a sack. Who got the sack? Oh, Jonathan Allen got a sack. Well, hey, that's the first thing he's done all year. It's getting a sack down 31-10 in the fourth quarter. Great. Money well spent there. Kwesi's in trouble. I mean, if this thing really spirals out the rest of the season the way it's looking like it's going to, Kwesi is in trouble. Dallas Turner, he's not worth the draft position or the extra draft capital to trade up to get him. He had a stupid roughing the passer penalty in this game. God, we almost gave up a 3rd and 14 on the ground. God, what an absolutely soft, gutless football team this is. This was supposed to be the Vikings team that was tough in the trenches? Are you fucking kidding me? They are an absolute joke. So yeah, offense has obviously been terrible this entire game. It's all a mix. It's all the same culprits. Wentz obviously being terrible is not helping. I mean, he's literally, like multiple times in this game. Once a defender even gets close to him, he just curls up in the field position and just accepts a sack when he could have at least moved a little bit or tried to throw a ball or something. He just stands there and basically curls, just bends over just to take the sack. I mean, maybe you wouldn't be so beat up if you stopped taking all the fucking sacks, you waste of our time. But even that's a failure on Kwesi too. Why was nothing done about the quarterback position? And it's not all about being, Captain Hindsight saying, "Oh, maybe we should have actually paid Sam Darnold," or "Oh, we should have kept Daniel Jones," or maybe we should have, God forbid, made a real attempt at maybe signing Aaron Rodgers. I mean, part of it is though you're just handing this thing over to JJ McCarthy. You're handing it all over to JJ McCarthy, and you're making all these moves around that. Well, maybe, not saying you can't do those things, but it's proven to be a disaster. And we will see McCarthy now after this game. He will start against Detroit. I can't even imagine what the argument would be to not do it at this point. But he, to salvage this season, he's going to have to be amazing when he gets back out there. And of course, 7 of the 8 quarters he played at the start of the season, he was not good. He was terrible. He was as bad as Wentz is tonight. But at this point, and of course, I don't know why they wouldn't even consider putting Max Brosmer in. I mean, I'm not one of these like, oh, Brosmer's the hidden gem of the season. No, he's not. He's just, maybe he can play. Maybe he won't take a sack every single time. Just concede a sack every time there's a defender within 10 feet of him. Maybe he'll actually, I can't stand watching these fucking sidearm idiot throws from Wentz. I mean, there's been like no highlight throws in this game. Like maybe a couple halfway decent throws, but nothing. At least last week he had a few throws. This has just been absolute dog shit. And yes, the offensive line has been bad too. Darisaw started the game and he's hurt again. Darisaw's just not gonna. Maybe Darisaw probably will never be a healthy player again. That's just how it's gonna probably go, right? Brian O'Neill didn't play, so we had to have Justin School back out there at one of the tackles. So offensive line's been bad, and then of course there's been no real attempt to call plays to get quick throws. There's been no slants, nothing. It's the same old shit. It's always like it's a fucking rerun. It's every game we've been seeing, going back to the end of last season. Different personnel, but it's the same game. 7 of the last 8 football games, this football team has been absolutely terrible. Or no, it'd be 8 and 9 because this is game 7 here. Yeah, so 8 of the last 9 games that this team has played going back to last year have been an absolute train wreck. Squeaked out a couple of wins in there, and then had the Bengals outlier game. It's unbelievable. We're so recently removed from this team playing for the number 1 seed in the NFC. And yeah, we were frauds last year. I admitted it. We were frauds. This is horrible. This is absolute dog shit. So now we have Wentz back out there with 7 minutes to go. Down 24 points. I mean, at this point, nothing matters. It's all garbage time. Any chance to come back in this game is long gone. They've shown it. This big harness thing they put on Wentz's shoulder, he probably can't even move on top of everything else. like this is, again, it's a total system failure from the Vikings. This is top down. Oh, watching Wentz scramble is just a painful experience. I mean, he's wincing after every throw. I don't know what they're doing. It's like, KOC needs to be held accountable for this. I mean, some of this is on him too. I mean, is Kwesi just making moves without consulting O'Connell at all? I mean, I don't think so. But I mean, this was their choice. They knew that if they were going to throw McCarthy out there as the presumed starter this year, you should have somebody as your QB too. I mean, every team needs a valid QB too. Wentz cannot play football. There's another incompletion, 4th down. This is on the guys at the top. Remember they sold us this bill of goods with what they did with the whole everything in this offseason, and frankly going back a couple off seasons now, that they thought that JJ McCarthy, even not having taken a snap in a real NFL game, that he was going to be ready to play at a high level immediately this year. He was not. You can say it's because of factors, elsewhere, and there's a 4th down pass that isn't even remotely close to the receiver, and Wentz is hurt. I have no idea what. We are certainly at rock bottom for Kevin O'Connell, and obviously there hasn't been a lot of rock bottoms because the overall record has been good. Yeah, I mean he got blasted and then he falls on the bad shoulder. Are they trying to kill him? Are they trying to have a murder on the field? I don't know what the thought process is here. But it's everything with this Vikings franchise is cloaked in failure right now. Everything is wrong. The offensive line, they go and spend all this money on Kelly and Fries. I guess Fries has been okay. Kelly's been out. Colts don't seem to be missing these guys. You went and spent big money on these 2 linemen from the Colts. The Colts don't seem to have missed a beat. Jonathan Taylor's in the MVP discussion. Daniel Jones is in the MVP discussion, and I believe the Colts have the best record in the NFL at the moment. So they're clearly not missing these guys. And this is the flaw in being like, oh, we're not going to pay the quarterback, and we don't want to have, God forbid, we pay a quarterback any money so we can go and sign a bunch of free agents. Well, most guys aren't getting to free agency if the teams that they're on really want them. Like, there are guys who slip through, and obviously we had a pretty decent, free agent class last year with Grenard and Gink and Darnold. There are players that, but you can't, consistently build a roster through free agency. And as good as maybe the free agent class was last year that Kwesi brought in, this year has been a disaster. And Wentz is included in that. And Wentz was probably the best one available at the end there of, kind of at the end of August. I don't know who else was out there at the time. I mean, in retrospect, you could have gotten Flacco, maybe. But, this is really, really, really a disaster that we're watching here. And this is not just, I don't think this is just, well, maybe this one season. No, this is looking really bad because this is what they've been working towards, over the last couple years. This is what they've been working to. And everything is failing. Everything is failing. The moves have been bad. Kwesi's drafting has been bad. With a couple little highlights in there, and hell, even one of the highlights, Jordan Addison. I mean, you're going to pay Jordan Addison a lot of money here. You're probably going to have to. You might even have to do that this offseason or start thinking about it. I don't know what's. I don't know what there is to look forward to with this franchise right now, unless JJ McCarthy gets back in here and is just a superstar, which I never once was on board with the McCarthy pick. I was never excited by it. Flashed a little bit a couple times we saw him in preseason, and he had one good quarter against the Bears. So unless he certainly surprises me, and over the rest of this season that is not going to be a playoff season, develops into a truly viable impact quarterback, we're looking at some lean years here. This is going to be bad for a while because, as has been talked about, you went out and made all this free agent spending. Well, now you're gonna be in some cap problems again. They claimed that we were in cap trouble with Kirk. We weren't. Now you can always get out of cap trouble. It's rare that a team can't do it, but you know what that means? That means you're getting rid of a lot of players, and I don't know with all these guys what contracts you can dump, and fucking trade deadline's coming up, in a couple weeks. They're showing Hawkinson. I don't know if that's gonna be viable going forward. That's proven to be overall a pretty bad move, trading a bunch of draft capital and then spending a bunch of money on Hawkinson. It's just the money spent on retaining players and outside players on this team right now is a disaster. They're not getting the return on investment for almost anybody that they've spent a lot of money on. How many players do you feel good about on this team right now? Maybe obviously like the low end guys, it's whatever. But let's say of like the top 30, highest paid players on this team, how many of them are actually doing anything? 5 maybe. It's a really, really badly constructed roster, and the coaching is not good. These penalties, the constant penalties, that's on coaching. Middle of the secondary being wide open, play after play after play when this game mattered, that's on coaching. Stupid short yardage play calls, from early again happened early in this game when the game was competitive. Terrible play calling on short yardage, that's coaching. This is just the reality. Kevin O'Connell is a terrible play caller. He's always going to be a terrible play caller. He needs to give that up. Maybe Wes Phillips isn't any better, but it's not working. And I know we're not far removed from going 14-3 with Sam Darnold. And I don't think it's overreacting anymore, because this team has looked absolutely terrible 8 of the last 9 times it's played a football game. And it's getting worse. And with this schedule, this is going to be a really, really horrible last 2+ months of this season. We're going to get absolutely skull-fucked by the Lions the next time. Damn well we're going to get a good version of the Ravens the week after that. We got to play Seattle. We got to play Darnold. You think Darnold's not going to be hyped up to get some revenge on us? Holy shit, we still got to play the Packers twice. We still got to play the Bears again. We still got, we got to play Dallas. Dallas might not have much of a defense, but they can score. This team is an absolute disaster. I don't see how we even match the 7-10 from a couple years ago. I don't know how we even get to 7 wins unless McCarthy comes in here and is really, really good. But we haven't seen it, and I frankly don't expect to ever see it. And that's like the last hope for this regime. I know it sounds crazy. This is a team that won 13 games 3 years ago, won 14 games last year, was playing for the number 1 seed in the NFC. But this regime is really in trouble if JJ, it was always going to kind of come down to JJ McCarthy, but they are in really, really serious trouble if JJ McCarthy is not a star, because it's looking like we don't have a lot else on this roster. We got a lot of free agents that suck. We've got a lot of overpaid players who just are not performing or are hurt. We got Jefferson, but he's been the good soldier through some rough spots. But how much longer is he gonna fucking put up with this shit? They're showing him right now. You can tell he's got stuff rolling through his head. Like, do I want to sit through this? Because they're gonna have to, if JJ McCarthy isn't the real deal, like even if the rest of the roster sucks, if you have the quarterback, if you for sure have the young quarterback, you can kind of start to build around him. If he ain't good, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do, other than lose a lot of football games the rest of this year and in years to come. Because I don't know what other quarterback. I mean, obviously you could draft another guy, but again, this is a regime that doesn't have a playoff win. You don't get endless rope if you don't win a playoff game. It just doesn't happen in the NFL. It just is not a reality. Especially if you have a really bad season, like if this spirals into a terrible season, which it certainly looks like it's going to, and then you're middle of next season and it's bad and McCarthy's not progressing, or he's hurt again or whatever it is, you're in trouble. And I don't know. I've talked too much. My throat's sore. I'm gonna stop talking. This game's almost over anyway. But Vikings currently down 37-10. We'll see what the final ends up being, but it's not gonna be a win, and this is gonna be a bad season, and there's not a lot of hope for the future, and it's bad times. So, well, next game, 10 days away, we're gonna get blown up by Detroit, and that'll be fun too.